When we picture a break-in, we usually imagine shattered windows and a blaring alarm. We expect identity theft to look exactly like that, a suddenly drained bank account or a panicked call from a credit card company. The reality is much quieter. Modern identity thieves do not smash and grab. They move in. They set up shop in the background of your life, using your credentials to live parallel to you, completely undetected. Most of us rely on standard credit monitoring apps to keep watch. We check our score once a month, see the same number, and assume the house is secure. But look at this timeline diagram. Credit monitoring sits all the way at the end. It does not prevent a theft. It only sends up a red flag after the financial damage has already happened and the meter is full. Catching an intruder requires looking further upstream. You have to look for the tiny, almost imperceptible stress fractures in your digital life that appear weeks or months before a credit score daps. True protection means stepping away from a single credit score. It requires a proactive, multi-dimensional audit of your entire public and private record. This radar graphic breaks down that audit into 5 distinct dimensions. The first 2 sectors represent the outer perimeter: data exposure and account security. The very first crack in the perimeter often shows up on dark web marketplaces. This is where automated scanners find a social security number or a driver's license actively listed for sale by a data broker. From there, the buyer needs access. They initiate contact through targeted phishing texts or seemingly urgent phone calls, trying to manipulate you into providing the multi-factor codes or credentials they need to compromise your bank. A successful entry leaves traces. You might see a suspicious login notification from a device you don't own, or suddenly find yourself locked out of an old email account because the password was changed without your permission. A hijacked email inbox is rarely an isolated prank. It is an intruder walking the perimeter, systematically testing the locks on your digital doors. Moving deeper, the radar shows Sector 3, financial indicators. This dimension extends beyond unauthorized credit card charges into the physical logistics of your household. A clear warning sign is receiving a collection notice or a standard monthly statement for a loan you never applied for. Professional investigators look closely at your physical mailbox. An abrupt drop in expected mail or finding letters addressed to a stranger is a glaring warning. Thieves will deliberately file an official change of address with the Postal Service. This routes sensitive bank statements and legal notices to a drop house, keeping you blind to new accounts opened in your name. When your mail stops arriving, it is rarely a clerical error at the post office. It is an intentional severing of your information supply chain, designed to buy the thief time. Sectors 4 and 5 cover government records and medical insurance. A stolen social security number splits into 2 paths: securing illegal employment or extracting unemployment benefits. You discover this when the system rejects your tax return because the IRS already processed one under your number. You might also receive a notice from the government demanding taxes on income reported by a company you have never set foot in. Then there's the 5th dimension, medical identity fraud. Because people rarely audit their health insurance portals, this is the largest blind spot. These anomalies often look like administrative glitches, an explanation of benefits arriving in the mail for a prescription you don't take, or a clinic bill for a procedure you never scheduled. The consequence of ignoring these paperwork errors hits when you actually need care, only to find your annual benefits drained by someone else's surgeries. Government and medical records reveal the ultimate threat. An intruder has moved past your bank accounts to occupy your legal and physical history. A single confusing medical bill or a delayed piece of mail, on its own, might just be a harmless administrative glitch. But look at the full radar again. When subtle anomalies from multiple different sectors appear simultaneously, investigators call this a probability pattern. This interconnected web removes all benefit of the doubt. It confirms the situation is no longer a suspicion. It is an active, systemic breach. If you recognize a multi-dimensional pattern like this in your own life, you have to initiate an immediate lockdown protocol. The first step is to place a hard security freeze on your file at all 3 major credit bureaus. Then, file a formal sworn report at identitytheft.gov to establish a legal record of the crime. From there, you must pull every financial statement, insurance explanation of benefits, and utility bill, reviewing each line for unauthorized activity. If the scope of the fraud is overwhelming, professional investigators can use public source research to trace the stolen data. They track the shipping addresses, IP logs, and public filings to identify the perpetrators for law enforcement. An identity thief relies on operating in the shadows, but every move they make leaves a trace, and knowing exactly which dimensions to audit gives you the power to find them.